You're listening to the Real Longevity Podcast, your number one podcast resource for living a longer life. Here we discuss topics on personal fitness, longevity, and real lasting elevation of mind, body, and spirit. Join us as we build a community of healthy men and women enjoying lasting levels of real health and vitality. If you're currently feeling frustrated with pain, flat, or fed up with aging faster than you actually are, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Longevity Podcast. Welcome to the Real Longevity family and get ready to live a life you truly love. Welcome back to the Real Longevity Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, informative, and elevating show for you. I'd like to welcome all first-time listeners to the podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Be sure to stay to the end of the show where I'll be sharing all my connection links where you can connect with me and the Real Longevity podcast community, which is growing thanks to you. So keep sharing and telling people about the good work that you and myself are doing here in the Real Longevity community. And today's episode is one I've been wanting to record for quite a while now because it's addressing something that I hear from pretty much 95% of the clients who come to work with me. And that statement goes something a little bit like this: Mike, I'm just exhausted all the time. I think it's down to my age. Now, that might be something that you find yourself saying, and every single time I respond with the same thing. It's not your age. So we know fatigue after 45 is commonplace, but it's not a sentence. It doesn't mean that because you reach a certain age, that's the way it is, you're tired all the time. It's actually a symptom. And that symptom, like many symptoms, they have causes. And causes that when you understand them, you can actually do something about it. And today we're going to go deep on energy and basically what robs you of it, what restores it, and how you can wake yourself up from that feeling of feeling more energized from the inside out. And it's what we talk about in the Real Rejuvenation Program. If you look at the two components, it's the R and the E. We're talking about in that framework, taking responsibility, realizing and taking responsibility, and eating right for energy. Because here's the real truth. The energy crisis that so many people over the age of 45 are dealing with, and you might not appreciate this, but like to hear it, but it's the truth, it's largely self-inflicted. And it's not through laziness, and it's not through making people feel bad, but it's basically through misinformation. But today we change that. So get health honest. You're not tired because you're getting older. The truth about energy after 45. Get health honest. You're not tired because you're getting older. The truth about energy after 45. So let's start off with the why. Why is it it's just age? Is this common statement or narrative is probably one of the most dangerous lies in our health and fitness space or health and well-being space. And it comes down to our attribution or what we associate with exhaustion. When we associate exhaustion or feeling tired or fatigue with age, we do something quite dangerous. You've heard me discuss this before, and that's basically disempowering ourselves. We're removing our own agency. We're telling ourselves that it's just where it is now. There's nothing I can do about it. So we stop looking or investigating for solutions. But here is the reality. Your energy levels are determined by your mitochondrial function. These are those tiny powerhouses of every little cell, or found within every little cell of your body. You've heard me talk about the importance of understanding the mitochondrial function. They are influenced by what we eat. They are influenced by what you eat, how you sleep, how much you move or how much you don't move, the quality of your relationships, that's important as well, how much stress is currently going on in your life, and your purpose. It's not by the number of candles on your birthday cake or how many times you've been around the sun. Yes, we are aware that things change. Hormones change after 45. We get reduced levels in estrogen, we get reduced levels in progesterone, we get reduced levels in testosterone, depending on your biology, and they can all affect our energy. Your sleep architecture changes with age, but the factors alone don't explain the deep bone level exhaustion that so many people describe and share with me when I'm working with them. That exhaustion is being made significantly worse, in my opinion, and in most cases, by what I would say lifestyle factors or behaviors that they're currently repeating in their life. But the good thing about that, that's in our control. You can change that. You can make alterations to your behavior. And as again, we spoke about before, when we're working with clients in the Real Rejuvenation Program, it's the R we're talking about. We're asking you to realize this and take responsibility, not with any blame, shame, or guilt or condemnation, but with empowerment. I've spoken about previously when I'm working with clients on the joint pain program within the health and fitness organization that I work with. In that program, we don't get people just to move, and we don't get people to change their diet. We get them in a mental space, changing their mindset where they feel empowered. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about taking responsibility and realizing. We're actually empowering people, not blaming them, saying you should be doing this or why have you not done this. It's about empowerment, because realizing you have more control than you thought is the most energizing thing I can share with you today. I'll say that again. Just realizing that you have more control of your health, you have more agency of your health than you might realize before is energizing, empowering, inspiring, and hope you take action on the back of that information. Now, what are those hidden energy drains that can deplete and really reduce our energy? Before we talk about what to add when it comes to doing things to help boost your energy, and obviously to maybe change your mindset when it comes to aging and being honest with yourself, we often need to think about what we can remove or stop doing. And there are 4 major hidden energy drains that are operating silently with a lot of people that I speak with, that they're blind to. It's going on, if you like, subconsciously in the background. Most people over 45 don't realize this, and no one's sharing it with them, so they're currently operating ignorantly and just doing these things without really understanding what they're doing. The first is blood sugar dysregulation. Now, when we talk about dysregulation, I'll ask you this simple question. How are you starting your day, and what foods are you starting your day with? If you're starting your day with toast, cereal, fruit juices, or even, air quotes, healthy smoothie, you could be triggering a spike in blood sugar, followed by that typical crash. And with that mid-morning crash, that's where people get that fatigue, that brain fog, that sense of irritability or feeling that they need to do something. That's not down to them getting older. That's just eating incorrectly or sugar dysregulation, as I spoke about before. So we need to be thinking about what we can do to eat right for energy. The second is dehydration, or in many cases, chronic dehydration. Most adults that I go into contact with, that I speak with them, they are mildly dehydrated. And they'd like that for the majority of their days. They're drinking lots of coffees and teas, not understanding what's actually going on when they're drinking copious amounts of coffees and teas. And because as we get older as well, we know that our mechanism to respond to thirst, our sensitivity to thirst becomes a little compromised. It becomes less sensitive. Even mild dehydration, between 2 and 3%, we know that's below optimal. Or if it has dropped by just 2 or 3%, it reduces that cognitive performance by up to 30%, which makes you feel that brain fog, foggy, tired, heavy, and slow, lethargic. The third thing is poor quality sleep. So we're talking about the quality of the sleep when you put your head to rest on the pillow. And when I say quality, I'm not talking about how long you're sleeping for. I'm talking about actually the quality of sleep. Are you getting deeper, restful night's sleep? For many people over 45, they spend 8 hours in bed, but they get very little deep sleep. And they wake up still feeling tired. They're not getting that restorative sleep because maybe they're eating late, they're drinking alcohol in the evening, they're sleeping in rooms that are way too warm, they're going to bed with screens stimulating the nervous system. So deep sleep is just something that they very rarely achieve. And that's where When we have that deep sleep, our body rebuilds, it repairs, it restores, it rejuvenates, it resets our energy levels ready for the day ahead. So we need to be waking up feeling like we've had a restful night's sleep. But for many people, that's not the case. They get a poor quality night's sleep. And the fourth, and this is a big one, and it's something that for many people, even with all the information out there, they're still operating blind to this, and that's how they're managing their emotional stress. How are they managing their emotional stress? Chronic emotional stress triggers a sustained cortisol response that literally depletes your energy reserves. Your body doesn't distinguish between a physical threat and an emotional one when we're in that state of stress. Stress to the body is stress. So whether it's imagined or it's real, stress to the body is stress. And if you're carrying any sort of worry, carrying any sort of resentment, you carry any sort of hateful emotions or anger, or you're people pleasing, or you've got unprocessed grief, you're burning through your energy supply before you've even started your day. So ask yourself that question. Can you relate to any of those? Is that yourself? So we need to look at ways that we can start to manage our emotional stress. As you know, I like to do, give you 4 solutions, 4 steps that can help you with these issues. Now, I want you to apply these as well. So take notes. You've written what to do, but now I want you to apply what I'm about to share with you. So number 1 is rebuild your morning or sustained energy. The most impactful change you can make to your energy levels is rebuilding your morning routine around blood sugar stability. So we talked about this before. Well, if we have this rising cortisol level, how that can make us have an insulin spike, and then we have this crash. We need to start our day with good level of protein and ideally healthy fats as well before we do anything else. So we're talking about sources of protein, eggs, smoked salmon, or any kind of oily fish, Greek yogurt, avocados. Again, there are alternatives. You don't eat sources of food with eyes, or you're vegetarian. Something that anchors your blood sugar and gives your body real fuel. Making sure as well we accompany that with a glass of water and a pinch of sea salt, ideally Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt, and a squeeze of lemon before you've had your coffee. What we're doing here is looking to rehydrate the cells, and that's going to help support good hormone levels and adrenal function throughout the day. If you can as well, part of your morning reset to boost your energy is get outside and do a 30-minute walk. We've talked about the importance of getting outside in nature. We can factor this in. And even if it's not 30 minutes, 10, 15 minutes getting outside. As I said, this time of year, the mornings are light. Get some sun on your skin, helps to reset your circadian clock, governs your hormonal levels. It tells the body, I'm alive, I'm ready to go. This is all free. Nothing I've said, you have to put your hand in your pocket. It's a really easy way to medicate and get our levels of thriving back up. Rebuild your morning routine for sustained energy. Number 2, eat right for energy, not for convenience. We spoke about this in the E. E is not about eating right for restriction. It's about eating right for energy. A lot of times when people think that they're amending or changing their diet, it's all about restriction. Can't have this, can't have that. So it's not about that. It's not about calorie counters or following a rigid diet plan. It's about making food choices that create energy rather than deplete it. Think about this spring, these next few weeks. I want you to focus on simple practice or simple principle. It could be just reintroducing one whole food that you've not been eating that you know is going to help to boost your energy. So every time you have reintroduce or introduce a food that's healthy and well, give yourself a bit of a pat on the back. It's not about being perfect in your choices here. No one eats perfectly. I tell you that from the start. Even those people that have written those hundreds of diet books, they don't eat perfectly all the time. And so I want you to move away from that mindset. But I want you to start making choices that I know are beneficial for your health. So maybe having some healthy organic nuts instead of biscuits. It might be having some chicken or chicken breast instead of that sugar-filled protein bar. It could be having sparkling water instead of a pop or diet drink. You're making deposits into your energy account. And I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know it's something that's going to help you in terms of your energy. We need to be eating foods that support energy after the age of 45. Foods that support energy after 45 are protein-rich food, healthy fats, leafy green vegetables, colorful vegetables, which are rich in polyphenols, and that helps support that mitochondrial function that we spoke about. They are slow-releasing carbohydrates, things such as oats and sweet potatoes. These are your energy currencies. I'm encouraging you to spend them wisely. Number 3, create an energy-protecting sleep environment. Now, sleep is not passive. Probably it's probably the most active recovery process that you can undergo or allow your body to undergo every single day. And improving your sleep quality is one of the fastest routes to dramatically better energy. 3 changes that will make a big difference when it comes to your sleep routine. So first of all, can you put yourself in a cool bedroom? Optimum sleep temperature is between 16 and 18 degrees Celsius. Most people go to bed in 2 warm rooms. We've been there before, haven't we? We're either on holiday and the air conditioning is not working, or we've been here in the UK and we don't have access to an air-conditioned room and it's warm. We struggle to get to sleep. There's a reason why we find it difficult to sleep in warm environment or warm temperatures. We need to make sure that we are trying our best to cool our bedrooms so we can get a better night's sleep. Second, and this is a big one for a lot of people, I know myself with young children, this can be an issue. To enforce this, or should I say encourage this, we know that blue light suppresses melatonin, your sleep hormone, by up to 3 hours. This single habit change, if you can look to implement it, can be transformative in the way and the quality of your sleep. Try your best. It's difficult, but to minimize before you go into bed, before you're settling down for the night, to put away the screens, the devices. And third, establish a wind-down ritual that signals to your body that safety has arrived and it's time to chill, relax. It could be something like having a nice bath. We know some people like hot bath, but that can be counterproductive. But having a bath can signal to the central nervous system it's time to relax. Something like a herbal tea, doing some very simple yoga moves or gentle stretching or mindfulness moves, reading a book or journaling or even praying. These are not really what I would class as luxuries, but these are actual necessities that we can introduce into our night ritual that's going to tell our central nervous system it's time to relax. And that's what it's been asking for. If we've not been getting a good night's sleep and we find ourselves getting disrupted sleep, doing these simple practices can really have a transformative and empowering difference on upgrading our quality of sleep and upgrading our life as a whole. Something to consider. And number 4, audit your emotional energy budget. This step requires a little bit of courage and a little bit of honesty, and that's what we're talking about here today. But it might be, and you could argue, it's the most important one. What I want you to do, I want you to sit with this question this week and ask yourself, where is my emotional energy going that it doesn't need to go? Ask yourself that question. Where is my emotional energy going that it doesn't need to go? It could be in things such as relationships that drain you. Is it commitments that you've made that you don't want to do anymore? Is it, we just talk about habits like scrolling? Is it habits like worrying and stressing about certain things? Is it replaying conversations in your mind over and over again that you're just burning through your energy? You don't really need to be revisiting those conversations. Are you giving yourself enough energy? Or is it that you're focused on everyone else around you, making sure they're all right, but neglecting your own needs and wants and desires? This is the R in the realize and take responsibility we talk about in the Real Rejuvenation Program. It's not just for your body, but it's for your whole energy ecosystem. So can you do an audit? Be honest with yourself. Where is it now in terms of your emotional energy? Where is it going? Is it one thing that you see that you could do without, or you could just stop doing, or is it many different things? Be courageous. Can't stress that enough. Be courageous. Be honest with yourself. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about being honest. And when you do that, I can promise everything will change. So what we're talking about today, we're asking you to get health honest. You're not tired because you're getting older. The truth about energy over the age of 45. We've dismantled today one of the most limiting beliefs when it comes to our health and well-being and upgrading our health and well-being and our fitness after the age of 45. That fatigue is simply a product of getting older. That's what people think. Oh, this age now, this is the way it's going to be. It's not. It is a symptom. And if we can change and understand the symptoms and the patterns that our lifestyle producing these symptoms, we can make those changes. We've looked at those hidden energy drains. We've talked about blood sugar dysregulation. We spoke about dehydration, poor quality sleep, and emotional stress. And we've given you some practical steps I've shared with you that's going to hopefully help. And I'm confident that it will when you begin to apply them. We talked about rebuilding your morning routine, eating for energy, protecting your sleep, and doing an audit on your emotional budget. Where is it you're stressing? Where is it you're spending energy that maybe you don't really need to do that anymore? But this spring, you have an opportunity to wake up. As I mentioned previous episode, this is a great time of year to get yourself back to investing in your well-being, upgrading your energy levels, upgrading your health. If this episode has spoken to you or you've resonated with a lot of what I've shared with you, and if you're sitting there thinking, this is exactly what I need to hear right now, then please don't let this momentum pass without taking action. Come and join us in the Real Longevity podcast community. It's built for people like you who are ready to go from knowing what to do to actually applying and doing it. Yeah, we've talked about CIA. If we take that consistent, intelligent approach and apply it, anything that we want, we can achieve. We can go from being tired and torn and stressed out to being really alive and thriving. And if you're ready to take that health step seriously with proper bespoke personal guidance, I'd love to hear from you, and you can look to apply to work with me directly. Every transformation I've been privileged to witness started with people being honest. And this is what we're talking about today, making honest decisions and stop accepting the status quo, the norm, and looking to make some transformations to upgrade their well-being and health and enjoy a new normal. I'll leave everything down in the show notes where you can link with me, the Real Longevity podcast community. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where we upload weekly videos with extra bonus content. You can find all that and hopefully you'll take action on one of those today. I trust you found today's episode uplifting and insightful. Remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm. Until next time, your energy is not lost. It's just here waiting for you to reclaim it. Blessings and chi. Peace out.